Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with me, and guess what? Another card. I know, I don't know why I'm making so many cards, but it's after Mother's Day, so I guess this one's just going to be a thank you card. I received something the other day and I need a thank you card. So this piece of paper is going to be 10 inches by 7 inches. This is going to be a 5 by 7 card. I need the 5 by 7 because I need a little bit more real estate, but you can make this any size that you want. Just adjust your measurements. Okay, you're going to score in the center at 5. This is going to be our card base. So, got that done. Go ahead and do a little pre-folding on that. Alright, we can lay that part aside. Then you're going to need a piece of paper, and this can be whatever color you want. Do your own designs, but this piece needs to be cut at 9 3/4 by 6 3/4, and you're going to put it on the long side, and you're going to score at 2.5. Let's see, at 4 7/8. And then I flip it and do 2.5 on the other end. I just do that because it's a little bit easier for me than to try to figure out that last measurement down there. So that is 2.5, 4 7/8, and then just flip it and do 2.5 on the other end. So this is what we have. So this is going to go right inside here, just like this. If you can see, it's just a little bit smaller than that. Okay, now we want to cut out just a little bit of an opening in this piece. So on that score line in the center, I keep throwing things around this morning. The center score line, just keep it folded. I'm using a Spellbinders just square, and I'm going to put it about, I'm going to place it about like that, just so that it'll cut out that much. So when I open it up, it's going to be a larger opening. As you can see, it's going to cut out both sides. So now we're going to take this die, and this is just a square die from Spellbinders, and I'm going to place it about 1 inch down and then kind of center it up between the two sides. And then I just took my pencil and I drew around it because this is too wide to go through my big shot. And if I turn it that way, it's still too wide. So I'm just going to take my pencil, draw around that. You could use any type square that you have to do this. You could just grab your square offline or whatever. And then I'm just going to try to eyeball this and cut this out. Just try to make sure that you get it cut out even on both ends. Alright, that looks pretty even, so that's what we're going to go with. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then this is going to glue right inside here, just like this. Now when you're gluing, you just want to glue down to your score lines, to these 2.5 inch score lines. You just want to glue down to there. You don't want to glue any further. So we're just going to use our ATG gun, and we're going to do it that way. You could use whatever type of adhesive you want, doesn't matter. So I'm going to put tape on that end, and then I'm just going right up to that score line, and I'm going to put tape on the other end. Now we're going to just drop down just a tiny bit from the top. Center this up just like you was making a mat. Flatten it out. Bring it to the other end. Just like that. It's just like you've got a window cut out in there. And then when you fold this card up, you can see what you're going to have. This is going to be our opening right there. See that? Now on this back part in here, I'm going to use this die that I got a while ago, and it's a lawn fawn die, and it's called Village Border. And if I can find it, I will link it below. I'm not sure they even make it anymore, but I will link that. I'm going to use that to put right inside there. So when it is opened up, let's see if I can show it this way. You can see those houses and trees and things in there. You see that? So when it's opened up, they can see that. So I'm going to glue that down right inside there. You could have glued this before you put the other part down, but it doesn't matter. It's easy to glue afterwards. And all I did was cut this out, and then I just cut my little trees out of a different color so that I could make those green. I just wanted the silhouette of the village, not the, not colors, any kind of thing like that. So I'm just going to put this right down at that score line and just kind of center it up. Put it inside there just like that. So there we go. We've got our houses inside there. That cute. Fold that back over. And now we need to put something out here on the outside. So what I have done is used a punch, and this is an old Martha Stewart punch. And again, if I can find this, I'll link it below. I don't know if it's discontinued or not. I know I can't get it in the store, but I'm going to put that, it's like a picket fence, and I'm going to put that right there across that so that it'll kind of look like a picket fence. And I will show you how to, someone asked me could I show how to use these border punches. I definitely will. They're not hard, you just have to kind of watch what you're doing. So I'm going to mark that so I'll know where to cut it off. And then we're just going to glue that right there. And I'm just going to glue down at the bottom because I may end up putting some flowers or something behind that. I'm not sure yet. This has been one of those cards that I've had to think about for a while, and that's not good for me. Okay, so see, we've got our little houses in there and then our little picket fence right here. And I am thinking that I might want to put just some little flowers in here. I cut these out, but I cut them all out one color. I might want to go back. This is a Thinlits die from Tim Holtz, and it's just got all of these little, I guess you could call them flowers on here. Let me see if I can find the name of it. I know it's got a name. This is Wildflowers. There you go. It's just Wildflowers. So I think I'll go back and cut these out of some different colors and just kind of tuck them in down through here. So let me do that. And then we'll come back and start putting all of this card together. We cut out a variety of these flowers, and some of them are going to be too large to go on the inside. We can use those on the outside, but we will use the ones that we can. We can always clip them off and use just little pieces of them down in there. Okay, I think we're going to arrange those something like that. And I am going to have to put a little bit of green in here, I feel like, just to pull that green in from the background. So I may cut a branch or two in a little bit and stick that in there. But right now we're just going to put these down. Now when you're putting the side ones down, if they're a little bit long, remember not to glue except just up to that score line, because you don't want them to be stuck down that way. Okay, so that they'll pop up when the person opens the card. Now I have just used a Tim Holtz die again, and I will try my best to post that below if I can find it. It's an old one I've had for a while, and I've used it in plenty of videos, but I will try to link that below. And I've just cut out a few pieces of the greenery, and I'm just going to stick them in some different places. And I'm just cutting them apart so that they will be about the size that I need. I don't want them too big. And I did use that same color that I used on the trees in the background. I used that same color just so it'll kind of blend. And let's see. There we go. I like that. That's good enough. Alright, and now let's see what I have. Now, I needed a sentiment to go up here, and I didn't have one that said from our house to yours. So I printed this on my Cricut. It wrote this part and then cut this out. And then I'm just going to use one of my Copic markers, and I'm going to go around the edge because it doesn't show up that well. I wanted it on white, but it doesn't show up that well if I don't ink around the edges, and I'm just going to use my Copic to do that. You can use Distress ink, whatever you want to do this. But if you have a piece that's just not showing up very well, if you'll just ink around the edges, you'll see it'll make a big difference in how it pops off the page. And I always hold my pen to the back side because I slip a lot. My hand is a little bit shaky, so I slip my pen. So I know if I slip this way, I'm going to mess up the back side and not the front. Hopefully. I say that before I finish. See how much better that makes that pop off the page. And you could always put little dots and things around it. That would be fine too. And I'm wondering if I need to go on the inside of those letters. I'm going to put it down and then we'll look at it. And I'm going to put this down with some foam tape because I want it to pop up just a little bit. Can't pop up too much or our card won't close right, but I want it to pop up just a little bit. So we're going to put some foam tape behind it. Oops, I keep dropping things today. My hands are not working. And I'm just going to kind of center that up, making sure that I don't put it below that score line right there. See, there's my score line, and I don't want to go below that score line or it won't fold up right. You see what I did? Look, I'm going to leave this in. You see my things, they're sticking out. We can't have that. All we're going to do is take these and put a little bit of glue on the top portion. And then we're going to close our card over. We're going to open this up and fold that down that way. And we're just going to make those to where they will fold down with the card. Whoops. So press those down really well. And now we have them fixed to where they still look pretty, but they fold inside the card and not on the outside. Now if you have a little bit like this that's coming on the outside of the card, just trim those off. Okay. So there we go. Now those are laying down, and I think that's cute anyway. Okay, this still needs a little something on there, so I think I'm going to use a couple of little flowers. I've got this little box of flowers that I keep on hand. I love these little flat flowers because you can use them anywhere. Doesn't matter. They don't have dimensions, so you can put them just about anywhere that you want. And they look cute. So I think I'm going to put one of those on either end and then put a little piece of bling on the inside. And the reason that I don't do a lot of cards, I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you. I love cards. I think they're absolutely beautiful. But I am so indecisive on cards. I want this on the front. I want that on the front. I cannot decide on what I want on the front of a card. It's hard for me. So that's why I don't make a lot of cards, because I sit here and look at my paper and things for hours on end, and then it's too late to make a card. So there we go. We've got those flowers down. It still folds up very well. Go inside of a card. Now we're going to decorate the front part. And on the front, I want to use this paper. I just thought I loved it, but it's not wide enough. It came out of a 6x6 piece of, it came out of a 6x6 paper pad. So I'm just going to put it in the center like that. And let's see. I think I'm going to run it all the way up. So we're going to mark it where we want to cut it off. Now we have this piece, and it is cut at 6 3/4 by 5, and we're going to put that down right there. So again, I'm just going to use my ATG gun. Put that down. Then this piece is going to center up in the middle of that. And let's see. That looks about centered right there. So put that down. Then we have this thanks that's going to go up here, and I want some more of that border of this punch that I did. I want some more of that at the bottom. So I'm going to show you how I punch these. Now I start in the center of this. I just kind of line it up, line my paper up right in the center, and I start punching there, and then I bring it down. And as long as you will keep this edge up to that little piece right there, and then line these up, you see how you can, let's see if you can see that, how you can line those up. I don't know, it's going to be hard to see. There you go. See how you can line those up with those other ones at the end? Bring it down just a little bit, line it up. Hold that there and that up against that, and then just continue to punch. Bring it down just a little bit, line it up, making sure that's there, hold that and punch. Bring it down, line your fence up. Just always line the fence up on the end and make sure that's up against the that part right there. Then just, whoops, punch it. Just sliding it down just a little bit at the time. You can't slide it too much or you'll miss one. Just slide a little at the time. Some of these punches are older and they're harder for me to punch. There we go. And you've got your fence all punched out. That is all there is to those punches. It's just kind of watching where you're punching, lining it up on that end each time and making sure it's up against that little fence thing. the little edge right here, making sure that it's up against this, and then just lining it up on the other end. That is it. Okay, so I think I'm going to come up, I think I'm going to cut this off at maybe an inch. Let's see. Maybe an inch and a half. Let's turn it this way. I think I'll cut it off in an inch and a half. And line it up just like that. I like that. So let's go ahead and I just mark the other end where I want to cut it off at. Then we'll put that down right there. At the bottom of the card. That's going to go right up there, and then we can just use some of these flowers to just kind of fill in here and there. We're going to clip these off a little bit. See how you can just fill it in, tuck them under. I'm going to use some of these too, even though they're basically the same color as our background. I still am going to use some of them. Okay, we have our flowers glued down on there, and then just because this looks like it's a little bit too much black, I'm just going to take this ribbon to bring that down here. I'm just going to take this ribbon and run it across there. It'll just bring that blue down to the bottom a little bit. This is just some ribbon that I've had in my stash forever. And then I'm just going to take my clear Nuvo and I'm just going to go over some of these flowers. Just kind of make them pop a little bit. Keep them from looking so flat. Okay, so there we go. There is our card. I went over, there we go. You can see also went over the thanks. And then when you open this up, you've got that beautiful inside. And it says, from our house to yours. Okay guys, that is it for this card. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit my face right up here and subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed. When that little bell pops up, click that bell so that you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. We will talk to you guys later. Hopefully the next video will be something else other than a card. I'm sorry if y'all are getting tired of my cards. I've just had quite a few to make lately. I do still have to make some graduation cards, but we will talk to you guys later.